Question is, 10 to 15 years from now, what's in store for Gibo? Are you going to continue your public service? Are you going to focus on your personal life and your family life? What's in store for you?
Probably in 15 years, I will not be in government. I'll do the things that I want to do, the things that I haven't been able to do, enjoy my family. If I win, I'll be out at 52 years old. Still a long way to go.
I would like to ask, who influenced you to become a pilot?
Walang influence. Talagang batang maliit pa ako. Hilig ko na talaga.
Were planes your favorite types of toys as a kid? That's
Yes.
why you wanted to
Yes.
become a pilot?
No, I mean, it was a function of wanting to be a pilot that planes were my favorite toys. Nandyan talaga. I don't know how to explain it. Talagang hilig ko eh.
Okay, thank you very much, Mikey. And while we're on the pilot topic, a lot of people also asked on Twitter, a lot of people, they said, sa'yo ba yung airplane na ginamit sa TV
Hindi.
ads mo?
Hindi ko kaya bumili ng 747. I wish it were.
Okay, up next, alamin naman natin kung paano si Gibo nung siya isang estudyante. Mahilig ba siya mag-aral? Sporty ba siya? Student leader ba siya? At syempre, kung gaano kahalaga ang edukasyon sa kanya. Yan sa pagbabalik ng Y-Speak. Welcome back to Y-Speak, and now it's time to talk to our guest of honor, Gibo, about education and employment. As a student, we know that you are a bar top-notcher, but during the early years, like grade school, high school, what stereotype would you fall under? Jock, nerd, heartthrob?
Definitely not a nerd when I was in grade school and high school. I really wasn't that studious in grade school and high school. A bit carefree, happy-go-lucky, even in college. It's only when I entered the UP College of Law that I was challenged. And that's the only time I studied as I never did before.
What would be your best advice sa mga, yan, when you went to law school, you were very, very good.
Yeah.
Best study habit na advice.
I know with law school, there's only one way. You gotta study from day one.
What would be your advice? Kasi maraming high school students talaga ngayon. They don't know what course to take, whether passion nila or yung what they'll get a job for when they graduate. What would your advice be for them?
Depends on the situation of the student. If he really needs to be employed immediately, then, the choice is obvious, the more popular employable courses. But if one has the means, put yourself in school, then it's your interest really that matters.
What was your first job? Whether this was part-time during school or right after school?
My first job was Kabataang Barangay President of Tarlac at the age of 15. My mother was the assemblywoman of our province, and the position became vacant, and next thing I knew, I was there already.
Tinanong namin ng mga kabataan ko ano mga issue at problemang kinakaharap nila ngayon. Right after the video, we're gonna go straight to the questions from the audience.
Edukasyon ang susi sa kaunlaran. Pero paano uunlad ang kabataang Pinoy kung kulang sila sa kakayanang makapag-aral? Hindi pa rin kasya ang mga estudyante sa classroom. Kulang pa rin ang mga libro at guro. At kulang pa rin ang sinasahod ng mga magulang. Kaya't wala silang pangtustos sa pag-aaral ng mga anak. At makagraduate man ng kolehiyo, di pa rin siguradong may trabaho ang mga fresh grad. Kaya napipilitan silang makipagsapalaran na lang sa ibang bansa. Ano ang sagot ng mga nais manungkulan sa mga hinaing at problema ng kabataan? At may pag-asa pa bang aasahan tayong mga tinatawag na pag-asa ng bayan? Yan ang tanong ng kabataan dito lang sa Y-Speak.
Alright, regarding education and employment, we have a couple of questions, pero we'll start with Edison from STI.
Tanong ko lang po, ano po yung plano niyo po para mapataas yung employment rate para po sa mga bagong graduates?
Employment rate is a function of investments by the private sector. If we're talking about the private sector, investments by the private sector into your economy. So government must make this place an attractive place for investment. And there's several things that you should do, like long-term infrastructure plans, education, reducing cost of business, and the like. Now, in the public sector naman, kailangan maging competitive din naman para sa mga estudyante at gugustuhin nilang pumasok sa gobyerno. Ang problema kasi, ang career track mo sa gobyerno naging stagnant at ang pay scale medyo mababa, which is something that really we must deal with, although it's difficult because, where do you get the resources? You cannot just reorganize government because there's security of tenure. There's also the stock knowledge of a lot of people that you cannot live without in government. So these are things that you have to grapple with now. I'm not saying that it can be done in 6 years. Maybe in the private sector it can. Pero sa gobyerno, kailangan isa na pag-aaral ngayon para ma-implement yun in the future.
My question is, ano ang mga plano mo gawin sa mga batang di makapag-aral or specifically mga street children?
Well, the problem nga, di ba, na for those who have heard it before, street children are a function of the condition of their parents. There are no street children if there are no parents that put them in that condition. So, kailangan tugunan mo yung kondisyon ng mga magulang, no? Bakit naging street children ito? Katulad ng, pwede naman tugunan yan, especially sa poorest of the poor na mga lalawigan, through what we call the Pantawid Pamilya ng Pangulo program, no? Yung conditional cash transfers para yung mga magulang pag-aralin yung mga bata talagaan ng konti, no? Pangalawa naman, kung talagang walang magulang or walang nag-aalaga, DSWD really must take care of it. Now, you have really to attack the problem at its source. That's parents, putting children in that way. And there's a variety of reasons that they may be able to do that. And you have to remedy the situation in accordance with the reasons of a particular family.
Sa pagpapahalaga niyo ho sa edukasyon, nabasa ko po na isa sa mga punto sa plataforma nyo, yung pagdagdag ng 1 taon sa edukasyon sa Pilipinas. Paano po nito matutugunan naman yung mga pamilyang naghihirap po at hindi kayang matustusan yung ganong klaseng pagdadagdag ng taon?
Mabuti na natanong mo yan kasi ang plataforma natin ay ayon sa Basic Education Roadmap na hinubog ng isang komite na pinamumunuan ni Father Nebres. And ang finding kasi naman doon, ang high school graduates natin ay hindi aligned sa international standards when compared with high school graduates also of other countries. Kulang ang curriculum, kailangan dagdagan. At hindi mo naman pwede talaga isiksik sa 10 taon niya. Ma-overstress ang bata, ma-overstress ang mga guro. Now, free education naman talaga yan. Dapat, no? At alam naman natin na kailangan tulungan din yung mga pamilya na makatapos din yung mga bata, no? Through a combination of policy inputs, no? But we must make that education system standardized. May social costs talaga, hahaba talaga. Pero that's a painful pill that we must swallow. A bitter pill that we must swallow. Kasi gumagawa naman tayo, kung hindi natin gawin, magiging uncompetitive ang ating mga kababayan. At sila rin ang mawawalan in the long run.
We're gonna move on from the topic of employment and education. We're gonna find out how Gibo is as a father and as a son. At ano nga ba talaga, gaano kahalaga sa kanya ang pamilya. Yan sa pagbabalik ng YSP. Well, back to YSP, and now you'll get to know about